Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got you do the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing. Step 1, wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food.
I pushed the wrong button. It started again. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning. My voice is sore. I've been in the on a convention floor this week, so I've been talking to clients and colleagues, and it's probably sinuses too, you know. So I'm a little hoarse this morning, and I imagine that Deacon remains somewhat ill. So first things first. Good morning. Today is August 31st, 2022. And I am JJ. You know, I'm your brother. But if anybody else watches this later, sometimes they do. I'm JJ. This is your two dads, and I guess that this morning I'm your two dads. And Deacon, my broadcast buddy, is out sick, so we'll have to manage and struggle through. I will not be going on a ridiculous tirade over the FBI and CIA this morning. That was yesterday. I think we comported ourselves well, considering how awful the FBI and CIA are. I brought along a fake prop for news for stories so I could seem more proper. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It is 6:34 in the morning. This is the best way to start your day. Wake up, drink some coffee, read the news, be aghast at the horrible things that are happening, be entertained by the ridiculous things that are happening, and understand that all these things will also pass. And when it's done, it's still going to be you, and it's still going to be me, and we're still going to be here. And our enemies will not win. We won't win either. There's no winning. But the people in our culture who attempt to dominate and destroy and repress and keep us down and prevent free speech and prevent free expression and impose cultural conformity, they're not going to win either. They may seem like they're winning, but they're not going to win. We have a number of stories this morning, some of them very few political ones. Although I was just flipping through my phone and I'm like, Biden said what? Biden said what? This is not on my newscast, but Biden claims bullet out of an AR-15 is 5 times faster than a bullet out of any other gun. That's your president, ladies and gentlemen. We have a retarded president. All right. Good morning. Throw your comments in the chat if we have anything come up that sounds interesting to you. Let's save the political stuff. Let me move that down here. We'll put it over here. We'll put it over there by Taiwan. Oh, definitely next to the migrants. There we go. Okay, so let's start. Oh my God, that's awful. We're going to move this over by migrants. Let's start lighthearted. Edge. Is this it? Is this one? F it. Nobody's here but me and you. I'll just do the whole screen. All right. First up, Elon Musk. Are you following the merger of Twitter? Well, the purchase of Twitter, the forced buyout of Twitter by Elon Musk. Have you been paying any attention to this? Do you use Twitter? Do you ever go on Twitter? I know my brother probably does not. There. Now we look dapper and handsome with our background. Yeah, but Jeremy says the AR-15 is more powerful than the 9mm, which will blow a lung out of the body. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, our president. I'm not sure our president's ever held a gun. Yeah, maybe he has. I don't know. Elon Musk sends second deal termination letter to Twitter and subpoenas whistleblower. So if you hadn't been paying attention to this, Twitter, which is a social media platform full of narcissists and rabble rousers and agent provocateurs and a number of bots. Twitter, it's also a great place to find memes and jokes and, occasionally some current events information. Twitter is a favorite platform of Elon Musk. Understandable that he would be very interested in buying this. Not only is he ridiculously popular on the platform in terms of his own audience, but Twitter is a short form message communication system built upon a now archaic, I would say, short messaging limit. Back in the day, your SMS messages were capped at like 120 characters or something like that. And I don't know what the current limit on Twitter is, but the cell phone itself was hard limited to sending messages of 120 characters. So I believe that Twitter started at its inception at having a very short message, very brief message limit. And they may be up to 256 now, but I think it may still be 120. Well, Elon Musk is, among other things, got a electric car company and a boring hole drilling company, and he's got I honestly don't know how many other companies, but one of his companies is Starlink, and he has a spaceship company. So Starlink, spaceships, and short form messages, those things all work together for very long distance communications. So as we wrap the Earth in Starlink satellites to increase internet connectivity on Earth, and as we send rockets into space towards the moon and towards Mars and towards wherever else he's going to go. It is going to be the farther away you get from Earth, the higher the latency and the longer it takes for return messages to get back and forth. So prioritizing short form messages makes a lot of sense. So I can see why Twitter as a platform would be consistent with or would jive with his other companies and his other kind of long-term goals. And it's fun and it has a good adoption rate. So back in April 20th of this year, he announced his intention to purchase Twitter right before the I think it was a week before the quarter closed, and then he and he made that intention based on his usage and his current information. Well, in the interim, since he offered to buy and they said no, and he said, well, I'm going to buy anyway. And then he put together like a $44 billion package to purchase Twitter. He has since found out that there's significantly more fake traffic on Twitter than was originally provided to him by the board or by the Twitter themselves. That is, Twitter is permitting bot users to inflate the following numbers, to inflate the social influence of its more preferred users, and at the same time is censoring or limiting the accounts or preventing news entirely of the deplorables, of the types of people that we don't want around here. So since the revelation or the accusation that there are significantly more bot traffic than was previously known, Elon Musk said, give me the data. Let me find out exactly what the bots are, because I thought it was supposed to be around 5% and it's looking like it's 20%. And Twitter says, no, that's not right. And we're also not going to give you the data. So Elon Musk sent a termination letter. Well, it's now been about a month. And now Elon has sent a second deal termination letter to Twitter. And Twitter is citing the allegations made by a whistleblower as, Elon's lawyers have sent a second deal termination letter to Twitter, citing allegations made by a whistleblower as reasoning for pulling out of a $44 billion acquisition deal that he first attempted to cancel in July. Axios reports that Elon's lawyers issued a second termination letter to Twitter on Monday, citing why would they repeat? You guys literally just wrote the same sentence twice. Who is this? Breitbart. Come on, guys. Hire a copy editor. Musk's legal team has also subpoenaed the Twitter whistleblower, Peter Zatko, who alleges that Twitter has been lying about the number of bots on its platform, particularly to Musk. Musk has claimed that while Twitter alleges its bot count for approximately 5% of its platform, the number is closer to 20%. Zatko alleges that Twitter arrives at its official percentage of bots only by sampling from a subset of accounts known as monetizable daily active users, or MDAUs. What a terrible acronym. But this metric, which was created to give advertisers an idea of how many real humans are looking at their ads, already is designed to exclude bots. Musk's lawyers have filed a subpoena for Zatko, requesting documents and communications regarding a number of wrongdoings that Zatko is claiming, including Twitter's tracking and measurements of user engagement. So he's still trying to cancel this deal, or he's strong-arming in negotiation tactics to get the price down. Don't know yet. The deal was originally supposed to close in October, and it remains to be seen whether or not Twitter shall be owned by Elon and company, or else if Elon gets out of this deal. If he gets out of this deal, plan B, as I understand it, would be for Elon to start his own social media company, perhaps using the renowned X.com, which he owns. Jeremy says the bots seem to be high for projects like She-Hulk, and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers talks about this. Well, so it wouldn't be surprising that that promoted projects, say for instance, She-Hulk, which is a production of Disney, but probably also had contracts with marketing firms, that some of those market, hey, we need to make sure that we're doing a good job and we're generating traffic. So let's hire this other guy that we know that can make sure that we get social media boost, and then the social media boost guy, bloop, bots. So would not be surprised. Not a key. I'm not asserting that would happen, but I mean, I think it's a reasonable potential course of events. It's not unreasonable to think that such a thing would happen, but I don't have any knowledge of that. Okay, well, I have used Twitter. I use Twitter occasionally. If you are on Twitter, you are welcome to follow me on Twitter. I'm in and out. I sometimes use it, sometimes don't. I usually follow. Honestly, I usually follow people to see if they're doing Comicsgate projects, and yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's either Comicsgate or I'm following Adam Baldwin and Cat Turd and a bunch of other people that are just giving the left hell. But I do have this cool Comicsgate list of creators that whenever they do projects, this is the best way for me to find out whose projects are going on right now, and just kind of stay up to date with that, because everybody, I mean, a lot of people are on Twitter. It's not entirely full of bots. There just maybe are a lot of bots. So your interaction in replies can be suspect. All right. So Chris Rock has declined to host the 2023 Oscar ceremony. Chris Rock has admitted to rejecting the hosting gig during a comedy show in Phoenix, Arizona this last Sunday. He reportedly declined to appear in the Super Bowl commercial as well. According to the Arizona Republic, Rock likened him returning to Oscars for a hosting job would be kind of like asking Nicole Brown Simpson to go back to the restaurant, in a reference to O.J. Simpson's ex-wife leaving a pair of sunglasses at a restaurant where Ron Goldman worked prior to her brutal murder. Rock also reportedly discussed the slapping incident at the Oscars, admitting that Smith's slap considerable hurt due to the actor's size. That is a very poorly written sentence. Rock also reportedly discussed the slapping incident at the Oscars, admitting that Smith's slap considerable hurt due to the actor's size. So hurt. How about hurt considerably? Paul, I'm going to give you a little tip here. When writing a sentence, read it, and then see if it makes any sense, because your audience can't read your mind, and that doesn't make sense. He's bigger than me, Rock said. The state of Nevada would not sanction a fight between me and Will Smith. That's true. I mean, Chris Rock is a very tall, slim man, and he's, I think, 5 years older than Will Smith. And Will Smith is, we'll say, more musclier is how I shall describe it. I don't know if it got a boost or not. Have you? I mean, he's continued to have gigs since the Oscar. I mean, he's had the same stand-up gigs. He I think it was 2 weeks later, he was back out on the tour and back out commenting and stuff. But Chris Rock does I mean, he does pretty good. I don't know that it give him I think he has like production stuff that he does, but he definitely does comedy tour, and he definitely draws a large audience. He's no he's not hurting for attention. I don't think that it hurt him in terms of draw or appeal or anything like that. If anything, it only hurt Will Smith. In what is sure to be the most baffling and talked about moment of the Oscars, actor Will Smith appeared to strike presenter Chris Rock in the face over a joke that The Rock told about Smith's wife. This was back in March of this year. In late July, Smith released an apology video that was not well received by the general public. I haven't seen it. I also don't care. I mean, that should be like Will Smith calling Chris Rock and being like, yo, bro, I overreacted. I got such pressures in my life, and I don't know why I lashed out at you. I'm so sorry. That's what he should be saying. There's no part of me that thinks this was the right way to behave in that moment, Smith added. There's no part of me that thinks that that's the optimal way of handling feelings of disrespect or insults. Will Smith is, you know what? Everybody is disappointing. Nobody's a hero. Nobody's a good guy. Everybody's disappointing. And I don't know what Will Smith's situation with his wife is, but it must be something of a certain amount of tension if a comedian on stage can heckle you and rile you up. So Chris Rock has declined to return, which is a shame. In so much as it's great to see Chris Rock on TV, and who cares about the Oscars? Nobody gives a that. Nobody cares. All right, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson says it's common sense. He says getting older has made him a little more conservative. Former heavyweight champion the champion Mike Tyson said in a recent interview that the aging process in the chaotic world we live in caused him to be more conservative. He was talking to Greta Van Susteren on Newsmax and on her podcast, The Record with Greta Van Susteren. Tyson said that although his rightward lean has angered some of his friends, he also feels it's common sense. My family gets mad. My friends get mad when we talk politics. Tyson told Van Susteren, when I was younger, I was all out liberal. This man owned a tiger. This man was way out there. But as I get older and I look at my children and I see what's out there in the world, I get a little conservative. It's common sense. Looking at the world we have now, you want safety. That's true. The United States has seen a surge in violent crime since Joe Biden became president. That's true. Apparently, bullets are 5 times faster than ever. 5 times faster. You know what? If anything is 5 times faster, it's the number of people coming across the southern border. Boom, boom. We got that coming up. Don't worry. Thank you for joining the show. Whoever is here that isn't my brother. Hey, by the way, we got a Twitch subscriber a day or two ago, so maybe they're on Twitch. I don't know, but maybe it's Colin. Maybe it's one of our other regulars. We're happy to have you here. It is, Wednesday morning, trade show week. Everybody, I think people are sick all over the place. The world's flooding. It's either in a drought or it's drenched. The air makes it impossible to breathe. Congestion. I think Deacon is encumbered with some form of this that is quite bad. So we'll hopefully he'll be back in the next couple of days. Meanwhile, I hold down the fort. I can be dad. I can be 2 dads for a couple days. How hard could it possibly be to do 2 jobs? Okay, so it looks like he's talking about. It looks like Van Susteren asked him what he thought of Governor Ron DeSantis, the American hero, right? If you're going to trust a human, if you're going to trust anybody and put your faith in them, it should be Ron DeSantis. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe that's not a good idea. But if you're looking at to weed out all of the awful politicians and see who's left and who's maybe possibly a decent leader, Ron DeSantis is looking like an okay guy. At least he appears to stand by his convictions, as opposed to almost all of the other ones. I can't talk names. Last time I tried to talk politics, wow, did they give me a beating, Tyson explained. I stay away from politics and religion. They stole my freedom of speech. Whoa, that's true. Though Tyson may not want to talk about DeSantis by name, he has shown no such reservations in the past regarding his longtime friend, Donald Trump. Tyson became a vociferous supporter of Trump in his campaign for the presidency in 2016. He's an underdog, and no one likes the fact that he's winning, Tyson told Good Day New York 2016. I know Trump. This is a good thing. Vote on Trump. Tyson has recently made headlines for saying that his death will be coming soon. However, the former champ remains in exceptional physical state for a 56-year-old, and hopefully that's not true. Wow, that's very grim. I hope that is not true. I do not want to see Tyson pass on from this world anytime soon. But, ladies and gentlemen, you have only so many days in your life, and you don't know how many that is. And he might know something we don't. He might have illnesses or health or some other issues. The exterior, your physical appearance, is perhaps a good indicator of the health of your life, but it is not a guarantee. You can be the strongest man. You can be the healthiest man. You can have a heart that beats so low and is so efficient, and things happen every day. So we do know. I don't know what he means. That's quite cryptic, but I hope that's not true. I don't want to see anybody die. I hate going to weddings and hate going to funerals. I also hate going to a lot of places. Please don't die and make me go somewhere. I don't want to have that happen. Oh, let's see. Hey, let's do some science stuff. Check this out. We talked a couple times about the Webb Orbital Telescope. They had some new images come in from this thing, and I don't know if I have them on here, but when I was digging around and looking about it, learning a little bit more about it, check this out. So, the Earth is 1 AU. That's 1 astronomical unit away from the sun. That's basically our basic unit of measurement, because for whatever reason, scientists were like, oh, well, like the easiest way to measure a thing is we all have a foot, so let's use a foot as a measurement. So the easiest way to measure interstellar distances is, well, we're all on Earth. Earth is, we'll just call that a space foot, an astronomical unit. So the Earth is 1 AU away from the sun, 150 million kilometers. The Hubble Space Telescope orbits the Earth at approximately 570,000 kilometers. That is a fraction of a distance of 1 AU. And the Hubble Space Telescope has been our, eye unto the night sky for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, something like that. The moon, look at this graph. This is so silly. The moon is 384,000. Oh, okay, then that's right. So that's 570 kilometers. Did I say 1,000? I don't know. 570,000 kilometers. That's overall the Hubble Space Telescope. And then 384,000 kilometers, the moon. Okay, we keep the moon up there. That's good. We need that thing. We put the Webb Space Telescope at the L2 Lagrange Point. Now that is interesting. L2 Lagrange Point. So it's 1.5 kilometers, 1.5 million kilometers in the air relative to the Earth. And do you know what an L2 Lagrange point is? Do you know what a Lagrange point is? We'll come back to that video in just a second. So the L2 Lagrange point was discovered by Joseph Louis Lagrange, who was an 18th century mathematician who was trying to solve the three-body problem, where if you have three orbital bodies, in what configuration can they remain in a stable orbit relative to one another? It turns out there's not 3 points, but there's 5. So from and a Lagrange point is a point in space where gravity, the pull of forces of the bodies, is equal out, so that a body can stay in that particular spot. So from the sun, right, to the Earth, the L1 Lagrange point is the point between the Earth and the sun, where the force of the pull of the sun and the Earth are equaled. Now, the Earth is much smaller than the sun, but so that point is much closer to the Earth. So at the L1 Lagrange point, the pull of forces between the sun and the Earth are equaled out, and you can put something in space there and it'll stay there relative to the rotation of the Earth around the sun. The L3 Lagrange point is the point on the other side of the sun, of where the Earth is, where the forces of the Earth and the sun, or whatever, it would balance there. So you could rotate around the sun relative to where the Earth is. That's the L3. L4 and L5 Lagrange points are kind of points on an equilateral triangle. So the distance between the sun and the Earth is 1 AU. So the distance between the sun and the L4 Lagrange point is 1 AU, and the distance between the Earth and the L4 Lagrange point would be 1 AU. So these would be an equilateral triangle. There's 2 of these points on the disk of the rotation of the Earth around the sun. The L2 Lagrange point is the point beyond the Earth relative to the sun, beyond the Earth, where the gravitational forces of the sun and the Earth and the pull and the rotation balance out, and it causes something to be placed here to be in a stable orbit. Pretty cool. So here is a video animation of the Webb telescope opposite the Earth, opposite of the sun on the Earth, opposite in line with the Earth and the sun, doing an orbital rotation of its own. But anyway, you'll see here in a moment. So you see the Earth rotating around the sun, and then you have the Webb telescope also orbiting the sun, but in addition to that, it's doing a kind of a circular orbit as well. I'm not entirely sure why it's doing that. Maybe that has something to do with the movement of the Lagrange point, or they may be using that to generate a parallax event. So if you do a pair, so if a pair, let me stop it here. So the go away ad. So this device is a solar shield. It probably captures solar rays as well and transforms those into energy to provide this thing some extra energy. But this is a solar shield. So the sun, the Earth, and then the rays of the sun are hitting the shield and preventing the instrument from overheating or getting too hot or whatever. The telescope itself is aimed sort of down, I think. So it's aimed in that direction. So when you take images aimed in a downward direction, it may be aimed upward. I'm not sure which way. It doesn't matter. So then if you take another image from this position, you're going to get the same image, but you're going to get a slight parallax shift. And that allows you to basically left eye, right eye, left eye, right eye. You can create a distance measurement of the items in space, because as they shift just ever so slightly, that's enough to give you a distance. And there's other things that happen, gravitational wobble and things like that. Pretty awesome. Hey, welcome, Manuel. Hey, I got your message on YouTube. Thank you, Sarah. Hey, and tell your mom I said hi. Good morning. And tell your daughter I said hi. So this thing is pretty cool. This Webb telescope. I mean, I had no, I heard about it after Deacon said, "Hey, look at these pictures," and I saw the pictures. It looks pretty cool, but I had no idea that it was leveraging Lagrange, Lagrange, Lagrange points to orbit the Earth. So that is dope. So there's a book that I read. Well, a series of books called Bobiverse by Dennis. Oh boy, now that's embarrassing. I can't remember his name. Let me look it up. Bobiverse. Dennis E. Taylor. And Lagrange points are used quite frequently. There's a whole lot of science stuff that happens in the Bobiverse books, but Lagrange points are used quite frequently in that series. So it's just so cool that we are putting satellites out at Lagrange points and using those, and that's how we're getting a very distant, deep space information. So it's pretty cool. Now, all of this came about because let me see if I can get to the NASA. Get back to NASA. Too bad Deacon's not here. He would love this stuff. He would love to know where what the new latest there was. We have, look at this image of Jupiter taken from the Webb telescope. So I mean, this thing is crazy looking. That's awesome. But there was like a ghost galaxy or something like that. 10 photos. There's more than this. I've seen some more than this. Well, we'll come around. Oh, look at this. So there's diffraction spike from Io. These are little rings around Jupiter. There's Io's footprint. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Pretty neat stuff. So the Webb telescope is cooler than just another Hubble's telescope. That is neat stuff. Okay, let's get back to Earth here. More migrants are coming through Mexico from far-flung countries. This is an analysis of the countries of origin of our new neighbors. Our new neighbors. They live here now. They're never going to leave. Forget about it. The number of migrants coming to the U.S. from Mexico and Northern Triangle countries has shifted to people making the journey as far away as Cuba, Colombia, and Venezuela in the last few years as the Biden administration struggles to handle the border. What have they done to handle the border? The Biden administration has done nothing to handle the border except make sure that the people at the front of the line that are crossing the border get moved into other cities secretly at night on airplanes. Get those out of the way so that more people can get across. That's the only thing the Biden administration has done. They have done nothing. Not one thing. Absolute failure. Pardon my editorialization. Traditionally, the bulk of migrants setting out for the southern border came from Mexico and countries that make up what's known as the Northern Triangle, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. But those numbers have shifted to Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela, and Nicaragua in recent years, representing a dramatic increase of 11,000% since 2007, according to CNN. U.S. Border Patrol encounters still more migrants from Mexico attempting to cross the southern border in July than from any other individual country. But so far this fiscal year, for the first time, encounters with migrants from outside Mexico and the Northern Triangle are outpacing encounters with migrants from either of those regions. So I presume that this chart is illustrating crossings from this fiscal year. Mexico in 2020, 297,711 migrants, fiscal year 2020. In 2022, 683,635 migrants. Now, legal migrants is one thing, but ladies and gentlemen, these are not legal migrants. Border Patrol is not overly concerned with legal migrants wandering across the border. These are illegal immigrants. Okay. Guatemala in 2020, 48,000. In 2022, 200,000 from Guatemala. El Salvador, 17,000 in 2020, 84,000 in 2022, this fiscal year. Honduras, 41,500 in 2020, 182,000 in 2022. Cuba, 13,000 people came from Cuba in 2020. 175,674 people have crossed from Cuba. Venezuela, in 2020, it was 2,787. In 2022, 128,000. Colombia, in 2020, it was 404 people. You could fit all of those people on one airplane. In 2022, it's 97,876. These are entire cities full of people that are migrating. Legally, maybe some. Illegally, a whole lot. And these guys are traveling from all over these countries through Mexico into the United States, and from there they are either they're not getting turned away. And they're at least not in record numbers. They are getting either they come across and Texas is overwhelmed, Arizona is overwhelmed, so they're saying, hey, you guys want to go to New York? Here's your government papers. Put on this bracelet, hop on the bus, go to New York if you want. And many of them, but not this many. What would the mayor of New York say if we said, let's just take just the migrants from Cuba and only the migrants from Cuba, we'll just send them all to New York? The mayor of New York would freak out. The mayor of DC would freak out. This is millions of people. This is easily, let's see. Right there, that's over 1 million people right there. So this is like 1.4 million people in fiscal year 2020 alone. Wow. What a failure. Hey, but Kamala Harris is the border czar, right? Kamala Harris is the border czar. According to the analysis, 732,661 migrants from outside of Mexico and the Northern Triangle arrived at the border in fiscal year 2022, which ends next month. They still have another month. You still got another month if you're out there. Oh my God. You laugh or you cry. Guys, it's not funny because like women and children, they're making the journey because they want a better life, and they're preyed upon. They're preyed upon by coyotes. They're preyed upon by criminals. They're preyed upon by crimes of opportunity. Tragedy occurs. They're unprepared. It's not safe. It's not safe where they live, but it's not safe to do this either. But they cross that border and they become either our problem or our responsibility. And we have a president and an administration that seems to revel in abdicating responsibility. But hey, maybe there'll be more people that vote Democrat in the next election, right? In 2020, the number of migrants from other countries was 43,715. The nearly 178,000 Cubans who were stopped along the southern border between October and July already exceeded the number who fled the communist island during the massive Mariel boat lift of that that began in April 1980. About 125,000 freedom-seeking Cubans crammed into vessels bound for Florida before the late Cuban leader Fidel Castro ended the exodus 6 months later. The analysis, which builds on an early examination by David Bier of the Cato Institute, said that one of the problems the shift poses for law enforcement efforts at the border is that migrants from outside Mexico and Central America are less likely to be removed under Title 42 health precautions. Only 4% of those from other countries encountered by border officials were expelled under Title 42. U.S. immigration policies have historically been created to deal with migrants from Mexico, but the shift in numbers makes it more difficult to deport people to other countries under Title 42, said the director of immigration policy at the Migrations Policy Institute in Washington. She said the strained relations between the U.S. and these countries complicates matters even more. These populations require different kind of responses. We have not established an asylum system that is in any way up to the level of challenge that is being brought about. The Trump administration began to address the changing immigration picture, but what President Biden has encountered is entirely different. And even though the administration is working to address the root causes of migration, like rising violence, political instability, economic uncertainty, the measures don't go far enough, Beer said, noting that they need a different playbook. There are as many answers as there are countries represented in this group. The rise in migration from Cuba, Venezuela, Colombia, and Nicaragua can be attributed to a number of factors. A new air route opened between Cuba and Nicaragua. Dwindling economic conditions in Venezuela and high cost of inflation in Colombia all play roles, as does politics. Rising repression underneath the Ortega regime, especially during a recent presidential election, has cemented the belief among many Nicaraguans that the country's political turmoil will not be resolved in the short term. The shift in migration is being felt by border officials on the ground. The world is increasingly unstable, and we have a responsibility to participate in the world, perhaps help them guide themselves to a better world. But are we responsible for taking in everyone? I mean, some of the asylum seekers are perhaps political refugees, but most are economic. It's economic migration. They're moving for better opportunities. Should we have some control over our border? I'm not against migrants, but we can't. This is not sustainable. The amount of resources necessary to provide services, documentation, anything. I mean, this is not an orderly way to manage our country and keep our countrymen safe, right? You cannot just allow, they're not rejecting anyone that has COVID that comes across the border. They're not turning them away. There was a story the other day about border crossers that had COVID, and it's like, in many of the states in the U.S., you can't, you have restrictions about what you're allowed to go or be or do or have. There's still some COVID related restrictions, but not for border crossers. Let me pull this over and look at this real quick. Let me see if I can find it. According to Fox News, 13 days ago, where migrant encounters is over 2 million in fiscal year 22. Migrants are seeing health problems linger while waiting at the border, waiting at shelters. The Remain in Mexico policy, which is the policy where, you know, oh, you're applying for asylum. Okay, we have your ticket. You have a court date. You remain in Mexico until your court date. Biden ended that policy. I don't know, a week or two ago. They finally were able to defeat the prior executive order policy. I can't find the story right now. So, how about this? Grim. Drowned children lay bare surge in migrant deaths and disappearances at the southern border under Biden. According to the UN's International Organization for Migration, there was a 53% increase in migrant deaths and disappearances in the border last year, the most recorded since 2014 when the agency began documenting migrant deaths. The tragic drownings of two children, a 3-year-old boy. I think I mentioned this on a story last week or something like that. Yeah, I think so. A 3-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl, separate events, one closer to El Paso, one somewhere further south. Trying to cross the Rio Grande into the U.S. last week has shined a troubling spotlight on a surge of migrant deaths at the southern border since Biden took office. The Biden administration is largely to blame for this rise in border deaths, according to experts and former senior border enforcement officials who told Just the News U.S. is encouraging historically high levels of illegal immigration rather than deterring people from making the dangerous trek from South and Central America. Fact. We just established that. Sorry, got comments here. Let's see. Manuel says, well, I had some family come illegally from Nicaragua from our open border, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them either. I don't blame them either. Where they live, their roads are with clay and mixed dirt, and only the wealthy have concrete roads. I don't blame them either. Honestly, don't know that I would do anything different if I were in that situation where I were in a country that is run into the ground or not run at all or corrupt to the core. I don't know what the situation is in these different countries. I know it's not good. I know that. But if I were there and I had kids and I had an opportunity to try to make a better life for my family, I wouldn't blame them at all. Don't blame them at all. But there's a difference between, like, this is our country, and we must, for my kids, and I mean, I don't want to talk about my kids on the show, right? But my kids are adopted, and well, I'm not going to talk about my children, but let me say this. For my kids to be safe in this country, I want this country to be as safe as possible. I want to give them a country that is secure and, yes, allows immigration, but allows immigration with the door controlled by this side of the border, that does not allow in everybody unfiltered, but says, let people that want to make the journey here come here, let them apply, go do it the right way. Don't break the law to get here and then continue to break the law while you're here, and then live as a victim and live as a second-class citizen. Not even a citizen. You cross that border illegally. You're not here documented. You're not, maybe you're paying taxes because there's a certain program for that, but you're not a citizen, and you're certainly not you're not even a second-class citizen. People that are here illegally live in fear that they will be caught out. They live in fear that they'll be exploited, and they are exploited. I don't want people to have to live like that either. So, I mean, I am sympathetic. I am. But it's our responsibility to first pull the plank from your own eye. Get your own house in order, and then maybe we can help other people. I also have family that crossed illegally and have jumped through hoops to make that correction later on. The people that come here illegally, they're not leaving. That's not happening. And I'm no advocate for kick them out either. Right? But we cannot allow this problem to remain totally ungoverned, which is what is happening. And because of that, people are dying. People are raped, murdered. There was a truck full of people, I'm pretty sure there was a truck full of dead bodies. Okay? We can't have that. We cannot allow that. Because you want to turn your blind eye to the problem, and you're bleeding hard for, people want to come here. Okay, well, we'll just have truckfuls of dead bodies and coyotes taking advantage. People just run off and leave the truck. If somebody dies, they just lock it up and run off and leave. Sorry. I don't know what your situation is. I'm not blaming you or anything like that. I think it would be cool if the classified documents Trump took was proof of aliens on Earth. I don't know, but we have a congressional, I think we have a DOD Office of UFOs now. So maybe you'll be able to find out. We talked about that last week. Department of Unexplained UFO Anomalies or whatever. Video shot by a Mexican TV station captured the harrowing scene of the young girl's body being pulled from the water near the El Paso, Texas last Monday. The river's undercurrent had swept the girl from her mother's arms, and both were from Guatemala. I know people from Guatemala. They're beautiful people. I love them. I know people from Guatemala. I know people from Honduras. I know people from El Salvador. Meanwhile, the boy was killed separately near Eagle Pass, Texas, in a similar drowning incident. A 2-month-old infant was also found, currently fighting for its life in critical condition. Both of the deceased kids were part of separate groups of migrants trying to enter the U.S. illegally. Such incidents have become increasingly frequent, reaching unprecedented levels during the Biden administration. In just the first 9 months of fiscal year 2022, which began in October, authorities found 609 bodies on the U.S. side of the southern border, according to the Customs and Border Protection data. That's already an all-time high for a single year and more than a previous record of 566 migrant deaths accounted for in fiscal year 2021 when Biden became president. By comparison, 247 bodies were discovered in 2020, 300 in 2019. So, your president's breaking records. Some of this stuff is grim, and I don't like covering this. I really don't like to cover stories about dead children, but how long will we tolerate? How long will we tolerate it? I don't know. We are. A couple people like me or people on the internet come in here and talk about migration. It makes a news cycle for a couple days, and then it kind of fades out again. And Kamala Harris has never been held to account for never going to the border. Joe Biden has never been held to account for this, for twice as many migrant deaths. Let's have some good news, huh? Are you worried about having to pay out the bill for all those people borrowed school loans? Don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. You're not going to be paying my school debt. That's not happening. I'll do it. The administration urges, listen to this story. This is so funny. The Biden administration urges borrowers, that'd be me, hey, seek refunds for student loan payments made prior to forgiveness. Oh, I'm supposed to go to my people I borrowed money for. Hey, can I get some forgiveness on that debt before the government comes in on this? The Biden administration is trying to get borrowers to go to the people they borrowed money from and say, can we Can we get some refunds for these payments? Can we get some refunds, please? And the reason why is to put pressure from us on them to deal with this a little bit, because the administration's effort to get $10,000 debt cancellation, $20,000 if you have to pay. First of all, he has no political authority to do that. Second of all, that sort of thing won't get through Congress like that. So since it's going to fail, he's trying to get public pressure to get refunds, ask for refunds. The president has the authority to suspend payments, not to cancel them. He has the authority to delay them. He has the authority to put it on pause. But a loan program set up by government, by Congress, the laws set up by Congress give him certain authorities. But a loan program is a program where the government loans you money on behalf from the taxpayer, loans you money, you go to school, you pay the debt back, the taxpayer gets the money back. If Joe Biden cancels the debt and doesn't collect payment, then it's not a loan, it's a grant. And the government, that is Congress, that's an act of Congress to turn that into a grant. Joe Biden can't do this. He says he's going to do it because you know why? We got elections coming up in 2 months. Of course he says he's going to do it. He's going to get stupid young people to vote for him because free money. This is a bribe attempt. But when it comes to as soon as it gets turned on, it's going to get immediately challenged. It'll go to a federal judge. Judge is going to say, hold on that. We're going to rule on this. It's going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and then it'll be killed. It's not going to happen. And then he'll try to push a bill through Congress. Nancy Pelosi's not going to do this. It's never going to get through the Senate. This bill will not get 60 votes to get through cloture. This is never going to happen. He can't do this congressionally. He can't do it on his own authority. He can't do this. He'll say he can do it, just like he said he's going to do a bunch of other things. And then he keeps getting stopped by the Supreme Court or, failing. This isn't going to happen. So since it's not going to work and we still got to get them votes, we got to convince people that we're going to pay them. And then later we'll blame it on the Republicans for not for preventing it from happening. We'll blame it on the extreme Supreme Court for not letting me invent my own presidential powers to give people money. So Joe Biden's this isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't believe it. Could Congress come up with some sort of a debt forgiveness scheme? I mean, they could. Maybe they could agree on something like that. Should they? Maybe they should, because they created a market that is predatory, and that is not fixed. That is not changed. Jeremy says the Supreme Court wouldn't even take this case. They only take big cases. They'll just, this would not be a small case. This would be a case of the president violating the Constitution and inventing new powers. And if this stood, then then it would set the precedent unchallenged that he would get to do it again. They may consider taking this case. Although if the lower court rules against them and then the appeal fails, then they might let it stay. That would be a dangerous precedent to set. But hey, who knows? Our Supreme Court does awesome stuff all the time. Democratic Rep Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is encouraging individuals who've made student loan payments since mid-2020 to contact their loan servicer for refunds so those payments can be recovered by Biden's new loan forgiveness program. The Biden administration is encouraging Americans to seek refunds for the student loan payments they made during the COVID-19 pandemic prior to the announcement of the president's new loan forgiveness program. See, if you were smart, well, if you were smart, you wouldn't have taken out loans in the first place, right? But for those of us that needed to take out loans many years ago to get through college, to make it happen, to increase the lives, we made a choice. We incurred debt willfully, and owe it to everyone to pay it off. So this whole COVID-19 stuff, suspension of payments, if you took advantage of the suspension of payments by not paying, that was dumb. That was dumb, because for the last 2 years I've had essentially like no payments required. Interest would have been suspended or what have you, and I kept paying my bill because I'm cutting off massive interest at the back end by continuing to pay it off right now. So, but Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is saying, hey, if you were still paying your bill, hey, never took out a loan, dropped out of college, life seems to be going pretty good for you, Manuel. I think maybe you made the right decision. The federal government website, studentaid.gov, contains a section titled Refunds During Pause. You can get a refund for any payment, including auto debt payments you made. This is for any payments. Oh my God, this is so great. You can get a refund for any payment you made during the payment pause starting in March 2020. Contact your loan servicer to request that your payment be refunded. So you're in debt, but you serviced your debt. And here you are at the end of the pandemic, when the pandemic's over and this thing's about to be turned off. And they're saying, hey, if you paid during the COVID, if you paid and serviced your debt, you can get some of that money back out. And guess what? This thing's going to fail. Biden's going to fail, and you're going to owe it again. You're going to owe your debt again. This is so stupid. The world's on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. I am JJW. Deacon is out sick. I am so grateful that you were here. I encourage you to hit the like button. Please tell somebody about this show. We're here every morning. We drink coffee, we read the news, and we comment about stuff, and I'm not right. I have my own ideas. Sometimes you have different ideas. I bet you can change my mind. I bet you can I bet you can. But I'm glad you're here. I encourage you to show up tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the best show ever. First of all, I'm going to be less sick than this, unless I'm not. Second of all, the trade show is over today, so I'm going to be a little bit more rested. So I'll get back to trying to make better thumbnails for the show. We have 6 people now, but I think we're growing our audience a little at a time, and we're going to get there. So Deacon will be back soon. For now, I'm JJW, and I have been your 2 dads. So weird to say. Silly show, silly name, but real news every day. This is the best, most trusted place for you to get fake news semi-interpreted for you. Semi-interpreted. It's most of it is fake, though. Oh, by the way, Taiwan will counterattack if China enters territory forces. That's official. So Nancy Pelosi may have not ignited an immediate world war, but she may have started the spark that is going to light the ember, that is definitely going to light the fuse, that is going to bring about a China, Taiwan, U.S., then it'll be North Korea, Russia, Ukraine, Europe, world war. It's going to happen. Maybe not. Maybe we can get out of this somehow. I don't know how. I imagine the way out is that China attacks Taiwan, and Taiwan says, we're going to fight a resistance. Come help us, America. And America says, yeah, no, we're weak. We can't help you. All right, man. Hello, Free Focus. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All of the news is going to be better tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the best show we've ever had. You don't want to miss it. Be here at 6:30 and listen to our new theme song. Give me notes. Is it not good? Is it not funny? Maybe it's not. I don't know.